Fire Dragon here. It is time for another heavy metal video guitar lesson. What do I plan to teach you today? Diads. What are diads? Well, simply put, they're just these two-note chords. Okay, so the power chord, it's called the fifth chord often because you're playing the first note and the fifth of any scale simultaneously. Two notes together create probably one of the most harmonious tones together. But it creates kind of a really powerful sound, hence the term power chord. But without getting too technical with it, all you do is you pick a note, next string over, 2 frets up. That's all you're playing. This note, next string over, 2 frets up. You should have this position memorized on your fingers. Because you will use this a lot as you play guitar. Okay, but next one I'm going to show you is what I like to call an inverted power chord. Some people may have different names, but I got my own name for it. Let's say I take a standard power chord. Here's an E power chord. E power chord has E and B. But what if I don't want to play the B in the bass? I can play it, the B, instead of right here, I can play it right here, and then still play the E where I want it to. All I'm basically doing is just barring 2 strings and playing a power chord like that, and I call that an inverted power chord because I'm playing the second note as the first note. Creates a little bit grittier sound, kind of a nice blues sound. A little bit grittier sounding. Next, I'm going to show you some major and minor thirds. So, the way this is for a major, basically, it's the next string over, 1 fret down. To make it a minor, just 2 frets down. Kind of the opposite of a power chord. So instead of this, just switch your fingers. Major, just 1 fret up. So how do you know when to use a major or a minor? Well, typically I follow the scale that I'm using. Like, let's just say if I'm using an E minor scale, the first note, the E, would be this. Second would be minor. Third would be major. Fourth, minor. Fifth, minor. Sixth, major, and so on. Just kind of figure out. If you don't understand what I'm talking about, don't worry about it. Just play it by ear, whatever sounds good to you. And the thirds aren't quite as harmonious and powerful sounding as the power chord, but they tend to add a little bit more of a melodic qualities. Next one I'm going to show you, it's not really a dyad at all. The reason is because you're playing 2 of the same note. These are octaves. So, just what you're going to do is you're going to take 1 note, 2 strings over, and 2 frets up. And, you know, it sounds a lot really clean. It kind of doubles your note. It's like playing a single note, but you're kind of doubling it up. 2 ways you can do this. A lot of people will like to kind of muffle the string that's in between the 2 strings that they're fingering, and then you can just play across 3 strings. Me, I like to use my finger and my pick while I do this. So I kind of like to grab one, just kind of grab the other string with my finger. Okay, the final dyad I'm going to show you. This is the diminished fifth. Not the open fifth power chord, this is the diminished fifth. So basically start with the power chord, but drop the fifth down 1 fret, half step. You notice it creates a very dissonant tone. So fifth, open fifth, very harmonious tone, 1 step down, 1 half step down, very dissonant. This is such a dissonant tone that in medieval days, this was actually forbidden to be used in classical music by the church, calling it the devil in music. What a perfect note to use in heavy metal, huh? But you don't want to overuse it, because it is a pretty salty dyad. It's a pretty salty tone. A little bit adds flavor here and there. Too much, yeah, it makes a pretty salty sound. So like, something like that, kind of do it at the end of a riff or something once in a while. Opeth uses this one all the time, constantly. I don't know. So just kind of combine all these together and you can come up with some pretty creative shit. So now that I've shown you all these different types of dyads, try experimenting around, see what you can come up with. All kinds of stuff you can do. I'm Fire Dragon, and this has been another video guitar lesson.